So let's talk a little bit more detail about the agenda. First of all, the current status of the project really should be the majority of the meeting time. We recommend well over 50% of the meeting should it be just about what's the current status, because you're really showcasing your firm's effort during this meeting. Some must-haves to hit on are what's the schedule. You want to talk about where the milestones are, what the timing has been, and whether things are on schedule or not. Regardless of where you are budget-wise, you don't want to ignore that. So whether you're on budget, under budget, or as often the case may be over budget, that needs to be discussed. It needs to be discussed on a regular basis. And so always include where you are budget to date and projected. Third, you want to discuss deliverables. This is a critical area. Always be upfront with the where things are with deliverables and milestones, because again, that's really where the rubber hits the road if you're doing project work. Another thing that's often skipped, but I think is critically important, is discussion of quality. On these deliverables, there should be quality metrics built in, whether there are specific metrics or not. You want to have it as a line item to be discussed so that you get feedback on the quality of your work. You don't want to go through a month or 3 or 6 month long project only to find out at the end that the client wasn't impressed. And then lastly, update on the scope. Often there's project creep, and so you need to address that on a regular basis. Second half of the agenda should really be about challenges. Again, this is all about communication and avoiding misunderstandings, and so you do want to address challenges on a regular basis. They do always come up. They should not be avoided, but speak to them in terms of the actual situation and identify what are the next steps, because it might be and we'll talk more about this in a little bit, but you might still be trying to get your arms around what the challenge is, identifying the scope of the problem. And so what the next step might be is, a data gathering still, or you might be in an analysis phase of the challenge. And so identify what those next steps are so it's clear. And if you're at the point yet of identifying potential solutions, then I think that's also very relevant. If it's at a high level, you don't want to go into great detail, and again, you don't want to dissolve into problem solving. That's not appropriate. But to give a high level idea of some potential approaches is very relevant. And then always leave time for new items. You'll want to identify what those may be, either on your side or the client side. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I think new revenue opportunities are a specific and important part of the client update meetings, and this is where that can come in. Talk about what else is going on at your client company, what other strategic objectives they might be doing, and that's an avenue for you to get more information about what's going on and where your project may fit into the wider, broader picture.